My name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOPTV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Ika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Behind every broken deck lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond
things trending and all things topical. Now, if this is your first time here, I say accept a very warm welcome from us because it's a whole family affair. Can I say that? A whole team, number of us working behind stage and of course in front of the camera to ensure that this is a flawless production. That said, we begin with the very first hashtag today, which is hashtag 100 million naira. So you know how yesterday it was all over social media and of course, you know, your regular media that former IGP Igp'S had resigned. Kayode Igp'S, he resigned because of considerable family situation. That's how he said it, right? But we had some rumor. It was actually called a rumor, but it has been confirmed that it wasn't a rumor. Showore had blown the whistle that 100 million naira was transferred into the account of Kayode Igp'S' son, Victor Igp'S, and that this money was meant for Anambra State security votes. So netizens started asking, how come the police force has the account details of Victor Igp'S? Is he in the police force? By the way, he isn't. You know, so that stirred a lot of dust and all of that. So today, the police force came out to clear the air, saying that it happened, but it was done in error, and that the monies has been reversed, or the money has been reversed, that it was even reversed immediately, that it was the former IGP's son who called the attention of the Nigerian police force to say, look, I don't understand what's happening, investigate the matter. In the meantime, I'm reversing the transaction immediately. So Benjamin Hunde, the police image maker, was on a televised interview and he clarified these issues. Now, netizens are jumping on it as well. So we begin with the very first post. Let me take you to X now as we take a look at this particular hashtag, hashtag 100 million naira. So the Nigerian police force says 100 million naira paid into Igp'S' son account in error. It was returned. Now, credit goes to the Spotlight News for this reporting. Goes on to say the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, has clarified that a 100 million naira transfer to the personal account of Victor Igp'S, son of Kayode Igp'S, the outgoing Inspector General of Police, IGP, was made in error. The clarification followed an online report alleging that Victor received 100 million naira from the Anambra State government's security vote account. The next one. So this is Vanguard, and Vanguard says 100 million naira paid into IGP's son's personal account was an error. Police clarify. The next one. So, of course, this credit goes to the Spotlight News for this. The Nigeria Police Force has clarified that the 100 million paid into the personal bank account of Victor Igp'S, son of former Inspector General of Police Kayode Igp'S, was a banking error that was promptly corrected. The next page. The clarification followed an online report alleging that the money originated from the Anambra State government's security vote account. Speaking on Politics Today on Channels Television, the Force Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Hundeyin, said the transfer was reported by Victor himself and reversed immediately. Quote, "You could remember when he, Omoyele Sowore, said 100 million naira was paid into the account of the son of the IGP. I called the son of the IGP immediately to know what was going on, and he explained," end of quote. And that was Hundeyin speaking. Quote again, "He said he saw 100 million naira in his account and told his account officer to reverse it immediately, which he did," end of quote. Hundeyin disclosed that Victor printed his bank statement to confirm the funds had been returned and subsequently closed the account. He also wrote a petition to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission requesting an investigation into the allegation. The police spokesperson maintained that the transaction was purely a banking error and that the funds were refunded to the Anambra State government's account shortly after the discovery. We now go to responses to this hashtag. Let's take a look at what netizens are saying. So Dr. Fabian Onunaku says, "Does the son work for the government? How did his account end up in government transactions? Is he a government contractor? The Anambra State government should also address this matter. At CC Soludo, please address this issue." Talking about Professor Charles Soludo, who is actually the governor of Anambra State. We wait with bated breath to see if he's going to be responding to this. Well, Prince says an error, 100 million naira, doesn't mistakenly walk into someone's son's account. Nigerians are tired of these insults. More reactions? So this is Ekong the superstar who says, "Why was it not paid into my account since it was an error?" Gosh. Then Alade Blessing says, "Which error? Was Victor a police officer? How did his account get subscribed to? Why did his account get to such high profile table such that error?" Okay, let me take that again. Why did his account get to such high profile table such that error would find it? Oh my gosh, that's a mouth twister. But Blessing goes on to say, "Why didn't the error transfer it to my account or Rufai's or others, but IGP's son account? Which error is that? This is mere damage control." Elibet says, "Even if it was a mistake, trust takes longer to rebuild than funds take to transfer." Elibet goes on to say, "Transparency matters more than explanations when public money and public figures intersect." But we all know that it was not a mistake. Wow. Netizens are not even letting up at all. You see how Blessing Alade mentioned Rufai's name. I think she's referring to the honor personality, Rufai, Hussein Rufai, who also jumped on this matter, saying that the police had clarified. So that's how that particular matter is panning out online at the moment. So you see how Sowore is in the center of it, right? Like I said earlier on, he was the one that blew the whistle shortly before it hit the media space that the outgoing IGP, Kayode Egbejogun, had already been replaced and that he retired, of course. He resigned, I beg your pardon. So we see how that one pans out. Talking about Sowore, he is our next hashtag. Next hashtag is hashtag Sowore. Sowore is alleging that, so the police says they've ended, how will I say it now, VIPs being escorted by police officers, right? That you don't have police officers escorting VIPs anymore. VIPs being very important persons. It's how it happens in Nigeria. So Sowore has come out to say today, among other things, he addressed 3 topics. But chief among them was the fact that he said he heard that police officers now go to borrow uniforms from vigilantes and civil defense, all in the name of escorting VIPs. It sounds like something that will come out of a thriller or a mystery, like a movie, a Hollywood movie. But Sowore is saying that that's what's happening right now. We've got the video, we've got the post, and we've got responses. So we'll take a look at the very first post now, and then that's it. Prime Reporters News says Showore accuses police of wearing vigilante uniforms for VIP escort duties. Human rights activist and presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, Moyele Showore, has accused officers of the Nigeria Police Force of disguising in vigilante and civil defense uniforms to continue providing VIP escort services. Showore made the allegation on Monday while addressing journalists at the Federal High Court in Abuja. He claimed that despite reports that VIP protection duties had been reduced, some police officers were allegedly obtaining uniforms belonging to vigilante groups and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps to continue escort operations. According to him, the practice undermines ongoing calls for police reform and diverts manpower from tackling insecurity across the country. There's a concluding part of the post. Let's take a look at it. Prime Reporters News goes on to say the activist reiterated his demand for the withdrawal of what he described as cross-border transportation of suspects, alleging that police officers move individuals across states over minor offenses, thereby wasting public funds. He called for a restructuring of the police through retraining, reorganization, and renewed motivation of personnel to enable them focus on core policing responsibilities. I think Chooks is jumping on this as well. Let's take a look at the next post that's going to launch us to the video. Yeah, thank you. The next post, this is the one that's going to introduce us to the video. Chooks says the first duty for the new Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, is to withdraw all the charges and reverse all the illegalities carried out by Kayode Egbetukun, and to stop VIP protection on Moyele Showore. So credit goes to News Century TV for the video. Take a listen.
One of the things we want him to do immediately is to withdraw all these foolish charges across the country and stop any police officer from doing all this cross-border transportation of persons who abuse somebody. You go and bring somebody from Lagos because he posted something on wasting taxpayers' money. Secondly, we want the police to be restored to proper policing, in which case you must retrain, reorganize, and remotivate his men to be working as policemen so that we can tackle insecurity in the country. We have already, and we've been asking for this, all of us here, that they should stop VIP protections. They have stopped it now, but we heard that they are, wait now, they are giving uniforms of vigilantes, civil defense. Policemen are now going to obtain civil defense uniform to continue as VIP protection. And most importantly, all the illegalities carried out by Egbetukun must be reversed, including those criminal promotions that he did. You know, we fought for the promotion of 74,000 policemen last year alone. It has never happened in the history of this country. That's 74,000 policemen, but he didn't.
So he actually addressed a number of issues. Well, you heard him say that thing about, police officers going to obtain uniforms that vigilantes and civil defense officers should wear. That is mind-boggling. So some netizens are jumping on it. You're going to be listening to Showore's attorney or his lawyer in a short while. But first, let's see how netizens are responding to this particular hashtag. So Undilika says the pressure is on for Tunji Disu right from the start. Withdrawing charges, reversing illegalities, and ending VIP protection. Big moves. If he actually does it, it could change a lot about how things are run. Are we ready for that level of shakeup? $1 million question. But what's not to be ready about? I think Nigerians have always been ready for a credible police force. But there are more reactions. Let's take a look at it. So Godwin from D says, that's just it. He needs to look into the old case and start the change from there. Olulade says, if Showore becomes president, now Deji Adeyonju will become Attorney General of the Federation. Talking about Deji spoke that Tunji Disu, the new acting Inspector General of Police, is his friend, but if he doesn't do well, they're going to jump on his case. Chooks again has that particular post. Let's take a look at the post before the video. It is hashtag Showore. So Chuk says, and he's quoting Deji Adeyonju, the new IGP is my friend, but if he refuses to do what is right, we will hit him hard like we did to Egbetukun. Wow. Take a listen, guys.
To the new IG, who is my friend. But like I said yesterday, there's no friend in the jungle. If he refuses to do what is right, he refuses to respect human rights, the same way we face Egbetukun is how we are going to face him. With no apologies whatsoever. He must do the right thing. All these police officers, the president gave a directive that they should be withdrawn. I can tell you that still close to 100,000 police officers are with VIPs, and they are all in Mufti. They've removed the police uniform, they are in Mufti. They must go back. Police, the new IG must ensure that all these police officers must go back to the barrack, go back to policing. The internal security job that they have abandoned, they must go back to it. That's the only way we can safeguard the country. The reason why there's insecurity in the country is because police officers.
Deji Adeyonju Showore's, Omoyele Showore's attorney. Omoyele Showore, by the way, is a very popular activist. I thought I should mention that. So they're hammering on this issue of police VIP escorts being withdrawn if they are police officers. You know what they just did? Oh, so Deji says the new IGP is his friend, but if he doesn't sit up, they're going to come for him like they did for the outgoing IGP. So what does it mean? You remember how Showore and his team would keep calling Kayode Egbetukun illegal IGP? I mean, they were on his case until he left the scene. So what Deji has just done is like to draw the line or a line in the sand. You know that game where people would draw a line in the sand and then there will be a rope. It's called a tug of war, and people will drag. Whoever drags the other party to his side carries the day. Looks like that's what they just enacted. So we are keeping our fingers crossed to see how this saga pans out. We move on now to the next one, which is sort of related. We are talking about Tunji Disu, the acting IGP, the acting IG of police, if you will. So he was decorated today by President Tinubu. And of course, the NTA has that one. Thank you so much. NTA Network says President Tinubu decorates IGP, acting IGP Olatunji Disu. Credit goes to the NTA for the video. Guys, take a look. So it looks like the game is on. So how are netizens taking this? Let's find out. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. It is hashtag acting IGP. Let's take a look at the reactions. So Tunde says, beautiful to watch. My first time of seeing, and then he goes on to say, congratulations to acting IG Tunji Disu. I wish him all the speed and good luck he needs on his new job. I mean, I don't know what that name is, if it's his pet name for the new acting IGP, but he's saying this is the first time he's seen him in police uniform, and it looks sharp, really. Temitope says, may God guide him as he steps into the Herculean task of leading the Nigerian police force. Certainly no walk in the park, but judging by Olatunji's resume, it may not be the mountain some expect. And may God also shield him from the ever-hungry political scavengers. So Temitope says it's a Herculean task, right? She's referring to the, should I say, the hero, Hercules. You guys watched that movies, right? The series, it's a series. I watched it and I'm a fan. But it looks like what Temitope is saying is actually true. It's a Herculean task. But let's see how well the acting IGP is going to do. But there are more reactions. Let's take a look at them now. This is Junior, Esheza Junior. Let me just settle for OK Junior. Yeah. OK Junior says, head of state Yoruba, head of army Yoruba, head of police Yoruba, head of immigration Yoruba, head of finance Yoruba, governor of CBN Yoruba, blue economy Yoruba, power minister Yoruba, chief of staff Yoruba, and still here we stand and believe in federal characters. Of course, Isaac Fayoshe, former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayoshe's brother, is trending because he's also speaking along this trajectory, talking about nepotism as well. But there's one more reaction I would like for us to take a look at. That's going to link us to the next hashtag. This is Abubakar M. Kareto, who says, why is it that public conversation is heavily skewed only toward Frank Mba, ignoring the other 7 DIGs? Mba is only visible, the only visible DIG because he was once the face of the force. Surely that made him an easy focal point for political and ethnic debates. DIG Ops, CID, logistics are silent departments. So Abubakar is talking about Frank Mba because he trended all day yesterday and looks like he's trending today again. Frank Mba is one of the DIGs that was skipped, or actually the DIG that was skipped for the AIG, former AIG, who is now the acting IGP. It's a lot to wrap your head around. So many people were saying, why was this elegant, credible police officer not giving the position that's his junior is now occupying? So he trended for that reason yesterday. He's also trending for that today again. So our next hashtag is hashtag Frank Mba, DIG Frank Mba. Let's take a look at the post now so you get a gist of the matter. Very first post, and then there's the video. The video is what Roots TV is reporting. So Ima Ike is reporting what Roots TV is reporting, and he's saying former national spokesman of the Nigeria Police Force, NPF, Frank Mba, has bowed out of service as the Deputy Inspector General, DIG of Police, following the appointment of Tunji Disu as the acting IG of Police by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mba is a good man. So according to Ima Ike Ome and Roots TV, Mba has allegedly bowed out of the force. Now, if this is contrary to what's applicable on ground, we will keep you posted. In the meantime, Roots TV, credit goes to you for this video. Mba is being called a jolly good fellow by his colleagues. Take a look, guys.
May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. For he is a jolly good fellow. For he is a jolly good fellow. For he is a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us.
Wow. Very moving pictures there. Yes, I think this sort of I don't know why, but it reminds me of, something we talked about towards the end of last year before the pendulum swung. I'm talking about Christopher Musa. He's now the Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense. Are you kidding me? Defense Minister. But when he was going to leave the military, because of the alleged coup d'etat and all of that, and there was a huge shakeup in the military brass. He was one of the people that had to go. And there was so much talk about his credibility, how he shouldn't have been let go and all of that. But shortly afterwards, the president called him back, and this time he's heading the defense ministry. It looks like it's a bigger portfolio. Do you think something like that might also happen to Frank Mba based on, the good vibes he's receiving online and offline right now? Well, fingers crossed to see if that's going to happen. But we have netizens jumping on this one. There are reactions to hashtag Frank Mba. Let's take a look at them now. It's sort of like a reflection of what panned out yesterday, but hey, it's worth taking a look at. Maduka says, DIG Frank Mba's retirement raises concerns about merit, transparency, and fairness in policing. When decisions seem political, trust erodes. Leadership must uphold equity over favoritism. Hashtag Nigeria. Hashtag police reform. Hashtag good governance. Hashtag accountability. More reactions? So this is Uche who says, a very sad moment. It's good to celebrate him, very refined officer, but very sad that he is not well used to at least give Nigeria police, or he was not well used to at least give the Nigerian police force a good face. Is that what you're trying to say? And then Uche goes on to say, DSP Umba, you deserve more than this. It shows that the entity called Nigeria do not want good people, but all they want. Okay, well, I'm not going to end that statement because I don't think it's true. I think Nigerians appreciate good people. It's why Frank Umba has been trending nonstop 2 days in a row. So Ijoba says, that is not easy at all. He wouldn't even know how to process the whole issue. He will be happy for attaining such height, and most importantly, in good health. And at the same time, he will be like, so it's all over. Wow. Is this the end? New life completely away from the life he's used to. May God be with you, sir, and guide your future endeavors. And then Ijoba ends by saying, thank you for your service. On that note, we take the next one, which is Mr. Ade Realtor, who says, the tradition of retiring senior officers had accelerated his promotion to DIG, and now it is retiring him. There should be no argument from anyone. He understands the process in the force. This tradition is eroding the force and contributing to Nigeria's loss of top officers. Apostle says, a prospective career ended by the president. And Mustafa says, but this looks like a birthday wish, or this looks like birthday wishes. Wish him all the best, Shah. And Meduba Chike says, this keeps happening in all the armed forces, and they use sophistry to explain it away. All the best to Umba. I think it's referring to what I talked about earlier on, you know, how senior officers were retired because their junior was going to be made their boss. Talking about the armed forces happens that way. It looks like that's what's going to happen to Umba if it's not happened already. But we wish him all the best. We keep our fingers crossed if he's going to be making a comeback, you know, to public life. We quickly move on to another story that's actually breaking right now. It is hashtag DSS strikes again. So you do know you remember the Owo massacre, right? That happened years back, and how the DSS arrested 5 people prior to this. Well, the 6th person in this whole saga has been arrested, and NTA broke that news. And so DSS strikes again. It's trending. So let's take a look at the post by NTA, lengthy, but you know, it's worth taking a look at. NTA Network says, breaking, DSS strikes again, captures 6th Owo church attacker. High-profile ISWAP commander hid in Edo village for 4 years. Operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, have arrested the 6th person involved in the 2022 attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, in which over 40 worshippers lost their lives and scores more were left injured. The DSS is currently prosecuting 5 persons: Idris Omeza, 25, Al-Kazim Idris, 20, Jamil Abdul Malik, 26, Abdul Halim Idris, 25, and Momo Tuhu Abubakar, 47, for allegedly carrying out acts of terrorism. For nearly 4 years, the 6th suspect evaded arrest, making him one of the most wanted fugitives in Nigeria. Let's take a look at the concluding part of that post. And it goes on to say, a security source disclosed that DSS operatives who had for 4 years been on the trail of the 6th suspect, identified as Sani Yusuf, arrested him in Igosa community along power line in Oviano's local government area of Edo State. According to the source, Yusuf, a high-profile commander of the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, had, after the Owo church attack, temporarily slipped into Kano before deciding to relocate to the Sleepy community in Edo State. The source further disclosed that Yusuf has since confessed to being involved in the planning and execution of the Owo Church massacre. In addition, continued the source, he confessed to other terrorist attacks by ISWAP, including the July 2022 Suleja military barracks attack and kidnappings in Kaduna State and environs. Quote, he admitted his role in the Owo Church attack, the Zuma Rock checkpoint assault, which claimed the lives of five soldiers and several ISWAP kidnap operations. End of quote. Now, this source, who has not been named, disclosed. I'm sure this source is going to be, claiming anonymity for the sake of protection. But hey, netizens are responding. Let's take a look at their reactions, shall we? Hashtag DSS strikes again. So this is Health Watch, who says, this is how biological systems intelligence gathering works. This arrest highlights the grinding, patient work of human intelligence, tracking a target for 4 years, understanding his patterns, and waiting for the right moment to strike in a sleepy community. It cost time and meticulous effort rather than headlines, but it likely prevented future attacks. The real victory here isn't just one arrest. It's the systemic dismantling of a network, connecting the dots from Owo to Suleja to Kaduna. Congratulations to everyone involved in the operations. That's coming from Health Watch. Dari says, thank you, Jesus. Kudos to the DSS. Now finish it up with immediate prosecution. That's coming from Dari. Well, Alex Kabari says, DSS strikes again. Are they playing for Propaganda FC or Damage Control FC? Gosh, that is sarcasm at the highest level, I can tell you that. But hey, we move on now to the next hashtag swiftly, which is hashtag Sheyi Makinde, talking about a former governor of, oh my gosh, he's the sitting governor of Oyo State. What am I saying? I was already thinking ahead. I was thinking ahead. They say the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, is Sheyi Makinde's thorn in the flesh. You're going to be seeing that reflected in the post I'll show you in a short while. But first, let me give you context. You know how not too long ago, Sheyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, an ADC chieftain, who has been pursuing the position of president, the #1 person in Nigeria, for years. So both of them, talking about Atiku Abubakar and Sheyi Makinde, paid IBB, aka Maradona, a visit in Niger State. IBB used to be one of Nigeria's top military ruler. So it looks like he's turned into a statesman now. So shortly after that visit, and it was a closed-door meeting, no. Nobody know how he knew what they discussed, but former Ekiti State Governor, Ayo Fayose, FCT minister's friend, I'm talking about Nyesom Wike. Ayo is his friend. So Ayo came out to say that this is what they said in the meeting, that Atiku Abubakar wants Sheyi Makinde to deputize him in the forthcoming election, among other things. So today, there was another closed-door meeting, Oyo Affairs reports it. It was Kwankwaso, Rabiu Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano State, who has been saying he has been betrayed by his protege, talking about the sitting governor of Kano State. Well, that's by the way. So Kwankwaso paid Sheyi Makinde a visit today, closed-door meeting. And netizens are saying very, very soon, Ayo Fayose is going to be telling Nigerians every single thing they said in that meeting. So I take you to the very first post now. There's a video, of course, accompanying it. This is Oyo Affairs. Oyo Affairs says, former Kano State Governor, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, is currently in a closed-door meeting with Governor Sheyi Makinde in Ibadan. The meeting has ended because Oyo Affairs reported this earlier today. So credit goes to Oyo Affairs for the video. Take a look, guys.
Excellent. How are you? Well done. Excellent. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Our national chairman.
Oh, okay.
Mutana is member of the House of Representatives.
Well
Galazima. Yes.
Ah, well. Please, sir, have your seat.
Thank you.
Have your seat. I'm doing very well.
Yeah, I can see it from your face. Even on the streets.
So some people are saying, what kind of alignment is this? Oh my gosh. It's the same question people asked when we saw former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, pay Alex Oti of Abia State a visit. And they were like, politicians, what kind of game are they playing? Even though Professor Osinbajo has said he just came to congratulate Alex Oti on a stellar performance, at the helms. Seyi Makinde is one of those people too that has received lots of accolades online. He was even asked once upon a time if he intended to run for the presidency. He said, yeah, if he wants to, he can because he's capable and all. And that drew some flack. But some people were like, go, go, go. Some people are wondering now, what is happening? Kwankwaso and Seyi Makinde? Is this going to be like an ADC thingy? Because people are wondering if Seyi Makinde might dump the PDP for the ADC, seeing as the PDP is in disarray and all. But hey, let me not just, digress. Netizens are jumping on this one now. We'll take a look at the reactions. So Samade says, over to Fayose for a concocted outcome reporting. Moshine says, Kwankwaso owns a movement called Kwankwasia. Obi owns a movement called Obedient. Tinubu owns a movement called City Boys. Well, it's Seyi Tinubu that owns City Boys or initiated City Boys. But hey, Moshine continues to say, Atiku no get any movement. Kwankwaso and Obi is the best permutation. Well, I don't see how that is related to this visit. But hey, Moshine, you can have your say. It's why we're called Voice of the People TV. The next one now, let's take a look at it. So this is Victor Davis who says, waiting for Fayose to tell us the outcome of the meeting. Nigeria is not a zoo, says, I hope he discussed the activities of those in the forest of Oyo State. Aldi or Old or Alade, says, okay, building a bridge across the Niger. That's a play on words. More reactions? So this is Adebola who says, we are waiting for Alaroye of Ekiti to give us details of what happened in the meeting. Michael says, good outcome. Make both of you join ADC, I beg. Gladsome Mind says, over to Fayose to tell us what they discussed. So basically, this is what people are just saying. They are just throwing jabs at the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose. Who knows? He just might humor netizens and come out with a response. But that's how we wrap up that particular hashtag Seyi Makinde. We move on to the next one now, which is hashtag Burna Boy. Burna Boy is trending through VDM, Very Dark Man. So VDM was in Nasarawa yesterday, and he actually commissioned some projects that he himself and Burna Boy had embarked upon, but all sponsored by Burna Boy. Though VDM had come out to say that Burna Boy has sponsored so many projects like that, like the one I'm going to be showing you in a short while, but I told VDM to be silent about it, right? So this one he decided to talk about. Now, I'll take you to the first post that's going to give us some meat to this gist, and then we'll show you the video and how VDM received a rousing welcome. Very Dark Man shares video of renovated and constructed facilities at Nasarawa State University funded by Burna Boy. Very Dark Man posted a video showing or showcasing newly renovated and constructed facilities, including hospital beds, toilets, water facilities, and other infrastructure at a university in Nasarawa State. The projects were funded by Nigerian musician Burna Boy, who channeled some contributions secretly through Very Dark Man, even though Very Dark Man has come out publicly to say it was Burna Boy. Now, we'll take a look at the next post. Chuk says, Very Dark Man shares a video showing renovated and newly constructed hospital beds, toilets, water facilities, and other infrastructure at a university in Nasarawa State funded by Burna Boy. So credit goes to Chooks and VDM for the video. Take a look, guys.
First of all, 3 goes for Burna Boy. Another goes for Burna Boy. So Burna Boy called and we were talking on the phone. I said, man, I want to start doing XYZ, going to Polytechnic, doing water, arranging this, arranging that. Then it's like, make I give you money too now. Right? So that was how he brought out some money. And then I just told him, because I remember our healthcare then, now our hospital. If you go there for headache, if they give you drug that time, if you reach out, you feel a shift blood. And it's no joke. Then, I don't know about now. It was bad. The beds were not okay, everything was just scattered. And you see, these things, you don't blame it on the school, because the government don't really put money to these things. It's not the school. It has nothing to do with the school. It's the government, right? So he said, oh, I'm going to be supporting you with this. Then he brought out money to renovate the hospital, to put in there.
Hostel, the toilet and everything. We just want to say thank you, Odogu. God bless you. We actually love your music.
And then we built that. I won the one.
Graduated from this school. I said, wow. So we have people like this. And you know the situation of the country, the economic situation we are facing, government contribution to institutions are dwindling. Is painful. It's clear. Like 2024, 2025, capital is almost zero in all tertiary. So we are just finding it very difficult. We are surviving by God's grace through the idea that we used to collect from these students' payment, which are meant for services for the students. And we've been thinking, because there was a time we had a meeting with some of these past students. They say, I think they came. They first of all gave us street lights. So last year they came for their reunion activity here. So I was talking to some of them, how will you connect us with some of our students that have graduated and are doing well, so that they can help us do one or two things, because the management alone cannot do it. The government also is tired. They say we should look out for it. And then all of a sudden we saw your team, your write-up, your intention to do something for the school. You are very, very good. We will ever remain grateful for what you have done to this school, for our students. And I think with the crowd that I heard, that I hope that they will be inspired by what you people are, so that they too will aspire to become something else. Because we are trying to see how we can change the narrative of this, of the idea, the mindset of our students, from just having the certificate to having the skill. You can get a certificate in a particular area of specialization, but you may be skilled in another area. So we are hoping and we are very, very grateful for your comment. Thank you so much. And please try and express our profound gratitude to Burna Boy also. We are very good.
This is so beautiful to watch. So you saw VDM addressing the students, and then you saw the management of the school, showing or expressing the appreciation to VDM, and of course, Burna Boy in absentia. It's a beautiful thing. And this is especially good for Burna Boy because remember how last year he caught some serious flack after he had sent a couple, away from one of his concerts because he felt they were sleeping. And, the Westerners decided to cancel him. But it looks like he's gradually recovering from that. So this is really good publicity for him, and we say congratulations to them both. Netizens are responding. Let's quickly take a look at the responses before we wrap up for today. This is Omar Ann, who says, more celebrities should follow this path. More reactions. This is Solomon, who says, if you told me 2 years ago that Burna Boy and Very Darkman would be the primary contractors for university renovations in Nasarawa, I wouldn't have believed you. And then he's saying congratulations to them and that they're actually getting things done. Let's take a look at the next one. So this is Youth in Process, who says, when citizens start doing the government's job instead of pushing it to perform, failure only gets more comfortable. And then that screenshot there. In how many communities has VDM helped ensure the PVC machines are available? Gosh, are you kidding me? One more reaction, and then we'll wrap it up. So this is Gozier Vibe, who says, when your favorite artist isn't just about music, but also building infrastructure, Nasra students must be happy. I think Dozier has another one with another very funny meme. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, Gozier Vibe again says, with Chinedu there, says, hospital upgraded, facilities improved, lives bettered, shout out to Burna Boy for giving back. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so Top G says, now so big wiz they do on the low key. All right, this must be a Wizkid fan. Yeah, who says, of course, Wizkid also does it, but, on a low key, he doesn't publicize it. Who knows? It just might be true. On that note, we wrap things up. Very, very happy with this last one. You heard how the school official, I don't know if that's a VC, was saying that they're handicapped. And so they now ask their students, or those who had passed out, to help. And so they were very glad VDM came on board. We hope to see more of this, and we do hope that the government would do the needful. That's why the people voted him into power. On that note, we wrap it up today. Thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. But the biggest success goes to you guys for watching. If you liked it, keep a date again with us for another edition of Hashtags right here, same time. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche. Bye for now.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Behind every broken deck lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, From missing funds to policy failures, we ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Ọ bụrụ na m bụ ezigbo nwa afọ Naịjirịa, ka ihe m ga-eme pụrụ iche.
Nwanne m nwoke,
Adanne,
m ga-akwụ chi n'eziokwu, kwanyere ndị ọzọ ugwu ma lekọta obodo anyị anya.
Gbam!
Ụmụnne m na ụmụnna m, obodo anyị bụ Naịjirịa ga-aga n'iru ma ọ bụrụ na anyị jikọta aka kwado ndị na-achị anyị ka ha mee nke ha, anyị ga-emekwa nke anyị.
N'ezie, ọganihu ga-adị ma ọ bụrụ na anyị na ndị na-achị anyị jikọta aka rụọ ọrụ.
Asaa bụ
Onye ndị na-achị anyị kwekọtara ha ga-eme ka obodo wee dị mma.
Igbo kwenu! Igbo kwenu! Igbo kwezuenu o! Ọ bụrụ na bụ ezigbo onye Naịjirịa aga m eme na-edosa ụzọ anyị ụcha oge niile na-akwụtụsi n'ụzọ eziokwu na-emere ndị agbata obi anyị ebere. Ndị ọchịchị ga-arụ ụzọ ọma na-abịa, wuo ụlọ ọgwụ ọma na Anambra, mee Enugu ka ọ dị nchebe ihe n'abalị. Nkwekọrịta gọọmenti na nzaghachi ndị obodo, ụmụnne m na ụmụnna m bilie ka anyị bulie Naịjirịa elu. Nkwekọrịta ndị ọchịchị anyị ga-aza, ọnụ obodo anyị ga-eme ya. Ọ bụ nkwekọrịta anyị na anyị ga-eme ka Naịjirịa gaa nke ọma. Nchebe gburugburu mebe obibi onye niile. Ndị ọchịchị ga-eweta ahụike. Ọ bụrụ na nrọ ọrụ ike mụta aka ọrụ, ndị ọchịchị ga-emepe ụzọ ọrụ n'Ebonyi Imo. Ọ bụrụ na nkwanye ugwu nye agbụrụ niile n'otu ndọrọ ndọrọ ọchịchị, ndị ọchịchị ga-ekpe ikpe ziri ezi nye onye ọbụla. Anyị jikọtara ọnụ. Nkwekọrịta gọọmenti na nzaghachi ndị obodo, ụmụnne m na ụmụnna m bilie ka anyị bulie Naịjirịa elu. Nkwekọrịta dị ọchịchị anyị ga-aza, ọnụ obodo anyị ga-eme ya. Ọ bụ nkwekọrịta anyị na anyị ga-eme ka Naịjirịa gaa nke ọma. Naijiria obodo mmanụ aṅụ na mmiri ara ehi na-asọ, ụzọ ọma o, ụlọ ọgwụ ọma o, ebe obibi ọma o. Igbo ndị ọma pụtanụ ka anyị yọleba onye agbakwala nke nwanne ya gbara. Let's go!
Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu na Imo, anyị ga-ekwe nkwa na anyị ga-eso ụzọ asaa na asaa ndị na-achị anyị wepụtara.
National Orientation Agency.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. the red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Hush behind hangar doors. Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Uguche.
And I am N100M. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Here are the headlines. Tunji Disu begins duty as acting IGP.
New IGP vows zero tolerance for corruption and human rights abuses.
Mixed reactions trail IGP Igp'S Okon's resignation as Disu takes over.
Amnesty urges probe of alleged police killings and torture in Imo.
INEC to probe staff over FCT election lapses.
An ADC chieftain Roland Ovie denies involvement in party HQ or Yegun's house attacks.
On the foreign scene, Ukraine says over 1,700 Africans fighting for Russia.
Well, in business news, Naira gains strength in parallel market after CBN cuts interest rate.
In sports, Simeone praises Lookman's impact in Atletico's win over Club Brugge.
Well, in the world of entertainment, Ray Modi quits Nollywood for music.
Now the news in details. Tunji Disu has assumed duty as the acting Inspector General of Police following his decoration by President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. Disu took his first salute from members of the Quarter Guard and police officers at the force headquarters after returning from the villa at about 4:25 p.m. He replaces Kayode Egbetokun, who resigned on Tuesday citing family reasons after being appointed on June 19, 2023. Disu's appointment comes 48 days before his scheduled retirement on April 13, 2026, but the amended Police Act allows him to serve a 4-year tenure, potentially till 2030.
In the meantime, Tunji Disu, the newly appointed Acting Inspector General of Police, has declared that the era of impunity in the Nigeria Police Force is over. He made the statement on Wednesday, shortly after being decorated by President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja. Disu emphasized that Nigerian citizens, not politicians, are the ultimate bosses of the police, outlining his priorities for the force. He vowed to enforce a regime of zero tolerance to corruption and human rights abuses, stating that he will train and encourage officers to uphold human rights. The new police chief's appointment comes amid calls for police reform and improved human rights practices. Disu's predecessor, Kayode Egbetokun, resigned, citing family reasons.
Meanwhile, reactions are trailing the sudden resignation of Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, accepted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Voice of the People TV's Onidamola Olukuton sampled citizens' reactions in Lagos, reporting on the development. Egbetokun, appointed in June 2023, cited press and family considerations for his resignation. This appointment is pending Senate confirmation.
The sudden leadership change at the Nigerian police force has generated conversation among residents in Lagos. While some describe the transition as a part of routine administrative change, many of those who spoke to Voice of the People TV said they prefer to withhold judgments for now. According to them, comparison between the former and current leadership would be premature. Instead, they suggested giving the new Acting Inspector General of Police another 9 months to outline his priorities and demonstrate measurable impact before any assessment is made. Several residents emphasized that their expectation remains centered on improved security, professionalism within the force, and stronger public confidence in policing. They noted that what matters most is performance and tangible results rather than immediate reactions to the appointment.
If they painted it as resignation, I disagree that it's resignation. It was actually a removal because there have been a lot of reports about the IGP. He has not been able to win any case or cases between the police and those either they took the police to court or he took them to court. I'm so surprised that Uba was forced out, to give room for this. So reading it, you will now find out that there's tribal sentiment there, which is really, really bad. Police are people that you cannot judge their expectation because they are almost the same.
I saw all those things inside building times, but I like his son. He's very good man. I'm sure you do better work for us. Me, I'm not to condemn anybody, but there's another person that come. Well, I like it.
You don't remember God with anything you are doing, such a person cannot survive. Any type of job you are doing in this life, either you are a police, you are a soldier, or any governmental work that you are doing, or private job, anything you are doing, ask God with it. God will teach you. God will put you through.
As the new acting IGP resumes office, many Nigerians say they will be watching closely, hopeful that the coming months will reflect meaningful progress. Oyindamola Olukuton, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
Similarly, at the Federal Capital Territory, public discourse on the appointment of AIG Tunji Disu as the new Acting Inspector General of Police by President Bola Tinubu has been characterized by mixed reactions spanning from applause for his operational background to concerns over seniority and the retirement of top officers. Correspondent Ferdinand Igp'S has the details.
Reacting to the development in Abuja, some residents of the Federal Capital Territory who spoke to VOP TV crew, including artisans, urges the new Inspector General of Police to put in his best to ensure that the state of insecurity in the country was reduced to its barest minimum. According to them, the new IGP should do his job well because he has a duty to provide security for lives and property of every Nigerian as enshrined in the Constitution. They advise Nigerians not to leave the issue of security to the police and other security agents alone. Rather, they enjoin them to make security their business.
Before now, the previous IG of police had already tendered his resignation letter, and I believe we cannot leave any of our positions vacuum. So the place has to be filling. There should be a spot to be filling, and I believe the president picking this new IG of police, Tunji Disu, is also an improvement at least, and I believe also he has worked effectively well to attain that position, and I believe he will do well.
It's not a welcome idea to me because those senior
those senior people that senior him, they have to go. So I don't think it's welcome, my dear. Moreover, it's a tribalism. It's not supposed to. People that are there, this thing, is a tribal. His appointment, maybe it's because Buhari started it when he was in power. He wants to initiate the same thing. But it's not done. It's not supposed to be so. It's real tribalism. Is bringing most of his appointment is like that because of next tenure that he wants to come in again. So if all those things is because of the next tenure that he is doing.
I think it's a good welcome development in the sense that if you look into what is going on in this country, you see that we need much amendments in some areas, which I think the Mr. President is good in that. If you check on all the previous appointments, if you see that you are not working perfectly in this section, it will remove you and replace you immediately. Me is about to retire, you understand, which Tinubu knows. And I think he's trying to calculate himself against next election in order not to have any issue from any place, you understand? Because if this man should be there up to the retirement time, I think there will be a difficulty for him to replace him. So I think changing him is a good and welcome development.
The Nigeria police has a strict hierarchy. When a junior officer is appointed IGP, it is common for senior officers above him in the rank to retire voluntarily or otherwise. Ferdinand Igp'S reporting for VOP TV in Abuja.
Ferdinand, thank you. Over now to Adamawa, where the state has topped the list of applicants for the ongoing Nigeria Police Force recruitment with 38,989 applications. The Police Service Commission, PSC, announced on Wednesday. A total of 616,873 applications were received nationwide, with 434,604 qualified for further screening. The PSC said 121,596 applications were unqualified, while 60,673 submissions were invalid. Male applicants totaled 442,592, while female applicants were 114,640. Other top states with high applications include Benue, 34,511, Kaduna, 30,397, and Borno, 24,009.
And now to legal matters. The arraignment of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai was told on Wednesday due to his absence in court, with a trial judge adjourning proceedings to April 23, 2026. El-Rufai is in the custody of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and the prosecution sought an adjournment to allow the agency produce him in court. The defense applied for bail, but the court ruled it premature, citing Section 156 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, as El-Rufai has not yet been arraigned.
And now Amnesty International, AI, has called on the Inspector General of Police to investigate and prosecute the officers allegedly involved in the torture, extortion, and extrajudicial killings at the anti-kidnap unit of the Imo State Police Command in Owerri, popularly known as Tiger Base. In a report detailing alleged abuses at the facility, the organization said the unit has become synonymous with impunity and systemic violations of human rights. Amnesty International said the launch of the investigation in Enugu that the police squad has deviated from its mandate and now engages in unlawful arrests, prolonged arbitrary detention, torture, extortion, and extrajudicial violence. The group alleged that detainees are routinely held without formal statements or arraignment in court, thereby enabling indefinite detention in violation of constitutional safeguards. It therefore urged the police hierarchy to institute an independent and impartial probe into the activities of the unit, including scrutiny of its commander and to ensure that officers found culpable were brought to justice.
In another development, a coroner's court in Yaba has adjourned proceedings into the death of 21-month-old Nkano Nnamdi Esege, son of author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, until April 14, 2026. The court, presided over by Magistrate Atinuke Adetunji, set the date for the commencement of the inquiry on Wednesday. Nkano died on January 7, 2026, after receiving medical treatment at Atlantis Hospital and Eurocare Multi-Specialist Hospital in Lagos. His parents have alleged medical negligence and professional misconduct in connection with his death.
Electoral matters now. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amopito, has announced an investigation into the activities of staff responsible for shortfalls in Kuje and Akabusa during the Federal Capital Territory elections. According to Amopito, those found guilty will face disciplinary action. He also revealed that transporters who delayed logistics to Kwali Area Council will be blacklisted. He made these remarks at a meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja on Wednesday while reviewing the FCT polls.
In the meantime, the Labour Party LP and the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC have announced plans to mobilize workers across the country as polling unit agents to safeguard the party's votes in the 2027 general elections. The decision was made at a stakeholder summit in Abuja, where party leaders and Labour representatives resolved to deepen membership registration and validation using union structures. The move is seen as a bid to avoid past mistakes, particularly in the 2023 presidential election, which was disputed by the LP's former presidential candidate, Peter Obi. The party's leadership says it is focusing on grassroots realignment to strengthen its chances in the upcoming elections.
Well, elsewhere, Peter Akpe has been sworn in as the 6th Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State to complete the remaining 2 years of the present administration. The ceremony took place on Wednesday at the Bayelsa State Exco Chamber, with Governor Senator Duyodiri administering the oaths of office. Akpe was cleared by the State House of Assembly on Tuesday. 4 commissioners and 14 permanent secretaries were also inaugurated. Diri urged Akpe to discharge his duties with the fear of God, following the demise of the previous deputy governor.
A chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Roland Owe, has distanced himself from Tuesday's attacks on the party secretariat and the residence of party leader John Odigoyegun. The attacks occurred after Labour Party candidate Olumide Akpata joined the ADC. Owe, a former Senate chief whip, in a statement on Wednesday, stated he has never been involved in violent politics in his over 40-year career. The attack came after some chieftains, led by Owe, protested exclusion from a meeting at Odigoyegun's residence. The state ADC chairman, Kennedy Odion, blamed the All Progressive Congress APC for the attack, while APC chairman, Jarrett Tanebe, attributed the violence to the formation of factions within the ADC.
Well, joining us virtually to analyze these stories is Sunday Oladapo. Sunday Oladapo is a House of Assembly candidate of Ikorodu Constituency 1, Lagos State, and he's of the ADC. Sunday, it's such a pleasure to have you join us again.
Yeah, good evening, and good evening, Nigerians. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome aboard. So, Tunji Desu has assumed duty as the Acting Inspector General of Police following his decoration by President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. Since we didn't have you here yesterday to talk about this development, how do you view his appointment or nomination, should I say, by the president ahead of Frank Kumba? This has generated lots of chatter on and offline. What's your take, though?
Well, nomination or appointment of any officer is not by seniority or whatever sentiment you want to put. It's just at the prerogative of the president and the approval of the legislature. And the thing is that Nigeria, at this point, we are blessed with a lot of talent. The police disposal. Any of the 7 DIGs could have been appointed. They are fine and gentlemen, just like Frank Mba. And Tunde Disu has also been a very, very fine officer. So to me, in terms of the sentiment, there is no sentiment from my end. The president has the right to appoint, even he can decide to appoint somebody junior to that. I believe one of the sentiments is that seven DIGs are, so like I said, they are very, very committed and qualified to. And I believe it's going to be painful that Nigeria will be losing those 7 DIGs to retirement, which is one of the things that will be painful to people. So, but the appointment is a prerogative of the president, and I don't think our sentiment can query it. You know why he has done that. The only thing that is important is for Tunde Disu to now stand up to his responsibility and then knock off every partisan and every nepotism from that force. Every time we keep getting the same message from every IGP, no roadblock, no searching of phones, no harassment of Nigerians, but it has always been news and no action. It is my hope that Tunde Disu will disappoint us by ensuring the right things are done. Number one thing I want him to put on his list is the issue of body cam. It is now time for the word of the police against the word of the citizens not to be entertained anymore. If there is body cam, we can have a picture of what actually happened and believing only the police that we always carry guns and harass Nigerians. So I think what we should look at now is what Tunde Disu is bringing and how it will benefit Nigeria and not the president or the ruling party. Thank you.
Okay, let's backtrack a bit. Let me take you back to the outgoing, because he has actually handed over to the General of Police. The president actually reeled out praises about him and then, commended him. For you, do you think that Igp'S actually, how would you rate his performance as an IGP? Do you think he actually did well during his time or tenure in office? Are you with us?
Officers at that top rank will always seem to do right according to themselves. But from the Nigerian masses, it has been the same story about policing. The Nigerian police has not lived to expectation. And if they have not lived to expectation, then it means the IGP going out has not performed well according to me as a citizen. It is easy and it is better or more fine or more good for the appointer to appreciate or sing good of the appointee. But as a Nigerian citizen, I believe the IGP there is no reform that has affected the policing. It's not enough for him to have shouted and have told us he has done perfectly well. But when we don't see that effect in police, every day police keep harassing Nigerians, keep extorting Nigerians, and they keep telling us they arrest them and dismiss them. Now, if I want to measure the IGP, it will not be about dismissing. The same police doing the same thing every day in out, and you keep dismissing, and it has not changed the remaining officers. Then to me, the IGP has not done well.
Well, you've ruled out your expectations from Tunde Disu, the newly appointed acting IGP. You also alluded to the impunity in the Nigerian police force. But Mr. Disu is saying that the era of impunity in the Nigerian police force is over. He made this statement today, shortly after being decorated by the president. Now, would you take his words to the bank, really?
Like I said, IGP Igp'S said the same thing. Even since the days of Michael Kiro, we've been hearing the same thing. But it has never been pushed to action. We keep getting that message, the days of impunity are over. But the policemen that are closer to us, of which we should get that information from top to down. The information is not cascading down. Before now, DPOs are always more disciplined. But now you see even indiscipline in that rank. So before I will believe Mr. Tunji Disu, because I know that during his time as the IRS boss in Lagos, he did very, very well. The good old boys. So before I will believe him, I think we have to see it. I have to feel it as a Nigerian. It's not enough to talk, to address press, and to say those statements while you are getting the job. What we want to see is that in the next 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, police can really be our friend. Then I will take him for his word.
Okay, still talking about this. So, one of the things they said was it's going to enforce a regime of zero tolerance and to corruption and human rights abuses. But, you already said that you have to watch to see if he will put his words into action. But what reforms do you think he can put in place to ensure that these are not just words and over time they actually become, what we see our policemen doing?
Like I said earlier, one of the best reforms that we need now is to ensure that all police officers in Nigeria have a body cam. And the body cam should not be only accessible to police officers. Probably we can have a joint civil society and the police authority having access to that cam, because even when there are issues, police may cover their own. That is the biggest reform that every Nigerian wants now. We don't want an issue where people are attacked extrajudicially and police tell you they are thieves. Police tell you they are Yahoo boys. Police tell us they are trying to take gun from them. If there is a body cam that I call this, I believe majority of the police will learn to behave themselves. We've seen a situation where police will lead thug to people's house. Thug, people's house. So, and all these things are what has taken people aback from police. If you tell people police is your friend now, nobody wants to agree to that. So the reforms they can do, as it's coming in now, let us have the body cam immediately. Then all the police under IGP Igp'S has been trying to be a money generation enterprise. Now, before now, tinted permits will be once and forever. Under IGP Igp'S is being introduced to be annual. What do you call it? CMR used to be once. Under IGP Igp'S is trying to be annual. And a lot of other business making ventures. I don't think police, after getting budgets from the Nigerian citizens, from the Nigerian government, has any right or any prerogative to now engage themselves in profit-making ventures. We don't need it. Let police focus on their security assignments alone, and leave out all these extraordinary businesses that want to keep making money at the expense of Nigerians. Let them leave that. Let them go back to the status quo. Oh, you tell us you want to automate tinted permit? Fantastic. You want to automate ECR? Fantastic. That doesn't make you collect it every year, because the same vehicle doesn't change, the same things doesn't change. All those things are permanent. So the new IGP need to look at that. Police should face his policing. Then, like I said, let us have a full reform, a body cam, so that the men carrying gun can have some behavior, can behave well. And I think this will help his work.
Well, Sunday, before we let this matter go, right, you know how Igp'S, the outgoing IGP, how his tenure was elongated by President Tinubu. And you know how activist Omoyele Sowore kept calling him illegal IGP. Now, just before his resignation yesterday, citing family concerns, there were talks. In fact, Omoyele Sowore was the one that blew the whistle that 100 million naira was transferred into his son's account, monies meant for Anambra State security votes. Now, the police came out today to say that it happened, that thing happened, but that it was an error, right? So Nigerians are reacting. Reactions are trailing the sudden resignation of Igp'S. What do you think could have been responsible for his resignation?
Well, the issue of 100 million naira, I tried to get a source to that news today, but I couldn't get it. Even the present PRO that my big comrade, Omoyele Sowore, said, confirmed that I didn't get that confirmation from his interview. So because of that, I will not be able to authenticate that 100 million story online now, because I'm not perfectly sure it is true or false. Then talking about the resignation, I, in my head, believe that is a calculated attempt to ensure that Tunji Disu runs that IGP office. And I will tell you why. The reason is that IGP Igp'S had never been legal, as Comrade Sowore has been saying, because the Police Act was amended years back to give the president the prerogative to appoint an IGP, and then because the political appointment, the IGP can a term of 4 years, even either his retirement is due or not. And if you look at the present IGP acting, that is Tunji Disu. Tunji Disu is supposed to retire, I think, in 48 days or so, to the mandatory 60 years of age. And I believe that if the current IGP had run the 4 years till next year, then Tunji Disu will have been caught up by age. So, and probably the president may believe so much in his in Tunji Disu to be able to give the nation what we want. So I believe it's a conspiracy theory. It's not. I don't think it has anything to do with 100 billion. I think the president just wanted know what he wanted, and Igp'S had to just give in to that. That's what I think. I don't think it has anything to do with 100 billion or commercial harassment. No.
All right, fantastic. Before my colleague Nina comes on board Sunday, you were wondering if the 100 million Benjamin Hundeyin came on board to say, he was on a televised interview to say that, yes, monies was transferred to Victor Igp'S account, but Victor Igp'S immediately reversed it and asked that, an investigation be carried out. I just wanted to put that to you.
Okay. If that is true and he has reversed it, then and he has reversed it truly, then I don't think anything has to do with him. Probably investigation should be carried out, and the motive behind that should also be spelled out. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Of course, still on the Nigerian police, there's the forced recruitment. Adamawa has topped the list of applicants with 38,989 applications, and over 600,000 applications have been received nationwide over this particular recruitment. What do you make of this? Having this large number of applications, do you think it's because of the excitement about being in the police force for Nigerians, or what could be the reason for such a huge number? And of course, Adamawa having to also top the list among all applications, among the states.
Well, I will say I will want to take Adamawa as a northern state. The North generally had always believed in the Nigerian institution, and I believe that is one of the reasons why they have high numbers. Because if you go to the east, or especially to the south, our people hardly applies. Because I think some months, 3-4 months back, it was the nation had to be, the police force had to be appealing to people from the east to apply. So the North had always believed in Nigerian institutions, and they have always applied massively, even from time immemorial. So then I believe that if I were the president, I will ensure that we have a good number to join the police at this time, so that we can have, just 2 days ago, he's reiterated his support for state police. I believe from this number, we can have people train and post to their state, and then join the state police. So that because the insecurity level is alarming, and the closest solution we can have is to have a local police, because most of these criminals are local members, are community members that are known by people in the community, and it will be difficult for the community policing to let those atrocities continue.
Sunday, you have been fantastic today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we've been speaking with Sunday Oladapo. He is a political commentator. Moving on now, a mother and her son narrowly escaped death after their Lexus SUV overturned multiple times at the NYSC bus stop along the Lasu-Shere Expressway in Lagos. The crash, described as a lone but serious traffic mishap, occurred during peak hours when the vehicle with registration number KJA 39JT lost stability and overturned thrice. LASMA, in a statement, said its operatives responded swiftly, rescuing the pair with visible bruises and mild trauma. According to the statement, family members of the victims arrived shortly after being notified and conveyed them for further medical evaluation and treatment.
A Monday fire outbreak at Terminal 1 of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos has destroyed critical air-to-ground communication equipment, forcing air traffic controllers to currently rely on emergency backup systems. The managing director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Farouk Umar, disclosed this on Wednesday while assessing the damage. According to the NAMA boss, the incident, which disrupted airport operations and triggered flight diversions, has dealt a significant blow to operational infrastructure essential for aircraft communication and air navigation services. However, Umar assured that efforts are underway to restore normalcy, with backup systems currently in use. While the incident remains under investigation, experts say the fire has raised concerns about airport safety and infrastructure maintenance.
Elsewhere, the Ogun State government has inaugurated a 15-member joint monitoring committee to address environmental pollution and lead poisoning in Ogejo. The committee will oversee operations of used lead-acid batteries, ULAB, recycling facilities, and serve as a watchdog. Commissioner for Environment said members were chosen for their proximity to the recycling plants, ensuring those affected have a say in monitoring activities. The government says the move aims to curb pollution and protect residents' health.
This next report says the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, Edo State Council, held a workshop in Benin City to address rising cases of depression and breast cancer among working women. The workshop brought together female health workers to raise awareness on early detection, mental health support, and preventive care. Correspondent Rhoda Johnny reports the initiative aims to improve the well-being of working women.
Solidarity, solidarity forever.
The Edo State Council of Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, in affiliation with the Nigerian Labour Congress, organized a Women's Committee workshop that addressed depression and breast cancer among working women, bringing together female health workers from local government areas, state institutions, and tertiary. The program focused on mental health challenges and breast cancer rates, emphasizing early detection, emotional support, and work-life balance, while providing participants with guidance on preventive measures and timely medical care. Organizers said the initiative aims to equip women with strategies to manage, improve well-being, and remain productive in both their personal and professional lives.
It is a step-down training as directed by the National Council of the Medical and Health Workers Union that has been run through the South-South zone, which we have also stepped down at our own state. What we have is not just a trade union, but I prefer to call the medical and health workers an institution, because we don't just do only the LUTA issues or the solidarity issues. We also go into letting all our members, most especially the women, understand how to take care of themselves, especially in their workplace, and how to also face depression.
Our leader from the national have been in support of encouraging us to run this program down to the grassroots. They have continually empowered us to empower the women, to educate the women on matters of union and health.
The lectures were okay, and the issue of breast cancer was one thing I actually enjoyed here, because how to detect it at the early stage and every other thing. I think Me to be there and
especially the young mothers, they do not want to breastfeed their babies. And when you are not breastfeeding, you are at a very high risk of having breast cancer. And then we also advise our men, learn to help your wife to examine her breast. The woman is your wife, so there should be nothing to be ashamed of. Help her to examine the breast. Even if you need to suck the breast, suck it, fine.
Rhoda Johnny, VOP TV News.
Rhoda, thank you. Staying with Edo State, the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development has introduced new child protection initiatives and a digital documentation system to improve care for vulnerable children. Our correspondent Rhoda Johnny again reports.
Women Affairs and Social Development has convened a meeting with operators of children's homes and relevant staff across the state to introduce new child protection initiatives and strengthen care services for vulnerable children. The session featured a demonstration training on the Children First software designed to improve documentation, monitoring, and case management in child welfare services.
An SOS to do a training on the software that we are trying to give the government to help them digitize the operations of child care institutions called the Children First software. So we came into Edo to train and then to work towards the modality of signing an MOU with the state so that we can collaborate better and help them in monitoring the activities of home operators within the state.
Alongside awareness advocacy on alternative care options, particularly foster care, as part of efforts to promote family-based care for children in need. Officials at the meeting stressed the urgent need for stronger collaboration among government agencies, private home operators, and development partners to ensure effective child protection across the states.
Children's software that is going to help to structure homeowners in Edo State. As we all know, we have vulnerable children in Edo State, and this sort of system helps to plan ahead for children. You know, children as they are, they come at different stage into the system. So at every point in time, they should be taken into records. So this system will help to structure things adequately, help us to plan for the future for the children, help us to monitor and to know what the homes are doing.
We have entered a digital world where we don't need to be carrying large documents all over before we access information. Now, at your fingerprint, you can know what's happening to your home. The government can know what's happening in every home. No child can be taken for merchandise anyhow. The government will know because the details will appear in that platform. So it's a tool that is developed for monitoring to make tracking easy and to give us information about the number of children who have in various homes and distribution of orphanages in Nigeria and all we need to know.
Rhoda Johnny, VOP TV News.
Thank you very much, Rhoda. We now move on to the foreign scene. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andros Sybiha has disclosed that over 1,700 Africans are fighting for Russia in its war in Ukraine, adding that Moscow was using deception to trick them into fighting. Speaking alongside his counterpart from Ghana, Samuel Ablakwa, Sybiha said discussions were ongoing with African governments to prevent their citizens being drawn into such schemes. Sybiha told a news conference that Russia was trying to drag African citizens into a deadly war, adding that Ukraine's data show over 1,780 citizens from across 36 different African countries currently fighting in the Russian army. Meanwhile, the Russian authorities have denied illegally recruiting African citizens to fight in the armed forces. Ablakwa insisted that many of the Africans fighting for Russia were victims of deception, lured on the dark web with the promise of ordinary jobs. According to him, they have neither military nor security background and have not been trained, but were just lured and deceived and then put on the front lines.
In another development, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called for partnership and dialogue with China during a visit to Beijing aimed at resetting relations that have been clouded by a yawning trade deficit with the world's second-largest economy. His visit, following those by French President Emmanuel Macron and British Premier Keir Starmer, came as European leaders looked to shore up relationships with China, following the widening rift with President Donald Trump's administration in Washington, the United States. Accompanied by a large business delegation on his first visit to China as Chancellor, Merz told President Xi Jinping that he wanted to deepen what he called the comprehensive strategic partnership with China, which was Germany's largest trading partner last year. Xi welcomes the comments from Merz, stating that the more turbulent and intertwined the world becomes, the more China and Germany need to strengthen strategic communication and enhance strategic mutual trust.
And now to business. The Naira regained strength in the parallel market on Wednesday, following the Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN decision to cut its benchmark interest rate, the monetary policy rate, by 50 basis points to 26.5%. The dollar was quoted at 1,390 Naira on Wednesday, representing a 10 Naira appreciation from 1,400 Naira on Tuesday. This marks a 0.7% gain in the black market. Experts say the CBN's move aims to support economic growth as inflation slows to 15.1% in January and foreign exchange reserves rise to $50.4 billion.
Still business, the African Travel Commission, ATC, has appointed the Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Authority, NTDA, Olayiwola Awakon, as its chairman to advance the organization's continental tourism aspirations. The appointment was announced at the recent ATC engagement and inaugural summit in Lagos. The ATC serves as a strategic platform to promote intra-African travel, strengthen partnerships, advocate progressive policies, and position Africa as a unified global destination. Accepting the role, he pledged to drive sustainable tourism growth, enhance competitiveness, deepen cultural exchange, and unlock broader economic opportunities across the continent through strong public-private collaboration. He further promised to work towards bringing together tourism leaders from across the continent in collaborative frameworks to transform Africa into a premier global tourism hub through innovation and strategic advocacy.
And now to sport, Atletico Madrid manager Diego Simeone has commended Ademola Lookman for his impressive performance in the team's 4-1 win over Club Brugge in the second leg of the knockout playoffs of the UEFA Champions League. Lookman, who came on as a substitute in the 70th minute, set up Alexander Sørloth's goal 6 minutes later, making an immediate impact. The Nigerian international has been in good form since joining Atletico from Atlanta, registering 4 goals and 3 assists in 7 matches across all competitions. Simeone praised Lookman's unique qualities, highlighting his ability to take on defenders one-on-one.
So sports, tennis this time. Our clubs are set to chase honors and prize at the second Smila Table Tennis Championship for the Southeast region. Coordinator of the event, Bonnie Akuna, told newsmen in Oka on Wednesday that this edition of the ping-pong game is an improvement on the first edition, which had 10 clubs. It disclosed that the championship, featuring clubs from all states of the zone, would hold from February 27 to March 1 in Oka. According to Akuna, cash prizes range from 150,000 naira to 400,000 naira, aside from consolation prizes.
And finally, in entertainment, the film industry is set to lose one of its fine actors in Ray Imodi, who has announced his exit from the film industry over what he called traumatic experience